Has Ukraine slipped into a total war? A no-holds-barred form of warfare where every action is acceptable, where every target is legitimate, and accepted rules just do not apply? Well, the answer is a resounding yes. Look at what happened on Tuesday. Ukraine's fifth largest dam, Nova Kakhovka, was destroyed, prompting mass evacuations and large-scale devastation. And 48 hours on, the scale of destruction is starting to become clear. In some places, scores of mines have been uprooted by the floodwaters. The Red Cross, in fact, saying this could pose a grave danger to civilians for years to come. And in other places, rescue workers are facing intense shelling. In fact, earlier today, at least 3 people were wounded in Russian shelling as they were trying to evacuate people from Kherson. Not just that, floodwaters have also engulfed towns on both sides of the Dnipro River. In some places, the flooding is so severe that people are living on their rooftops. And the deluge has also left thousands without access to clean drinking water and swamped tens of thousands of hectares of agricultural land. When the floods subside, these lands risk becoming deserts. And why is that? Because the water is polluted. Ukraine says 150 tons of machine oil has already leaked into the Dnipro. And there is a risk that another 300 tons could further pollute the river. And this could spark a large-scale humanitarian and environmental disaster across southern Ukraine. Aren't all of these signs of a total war, a war where everything is off the table? You see, until now, this war was said to be a military operation where both sides target each other's military installations, not civilian infrastructure. The destruction of the dam, the critical dam in Ukraine, has changed this.
It kind of marks a turning point in a sense that now that Ukraine has begun its counteroffensive, and it will be remembered most likely was this first kind of intentional, by whatever side, destruction of critical civilian infrastructure. Because so far there have been many incidents, but this is a major one.
You see, it marks a major violation of the Geneva Convention. The Geneva Convention and additional protocols shaped by international courts say that parties involved in a military conflict must distinguish between civilian objects and military objectives. The protocols explicitly ban wartime attacks on civilian installations containing dangerous forces, like hydroelectric dams, due to the risk posed to civilians. And this prohibition in the convention has been sent for a toss. In fact, why just the Geneva Convention? In recent months, every other convention has also been broken by both sides. The breaches started with the explosion of the Crimean Bridge. On the 8th of October last year, it witnessed a massive explosion. The bridge's 2-lane vehicular spans collapsed into the water. And who did this? All evidence pointed towards Ukraine. And why did it blow up the bridge, if it did? To prevent Russian troops from advancing into Ukraine. But wasn't that also an attack on civilian infrastructure? And a month before this, in September 2022, the Nord Stream natural gas pipelines were bombed, rendering most of the gas supply from Russia to Germany ineffective. And who blew up these pipelines? Well, the perpetrators' identities and the motive behind the sabotage remain debated. But most investigations and documents have hinted towards the involvement of Ukraine. In fact, 2 days back, this report emerged. It said that leaked Pentagon papers suggest that it was Ukraine that sabotaged the line. A group of investigators in Germany have reiterated these claims. They have even identified 6 Ukrainian individuals who carried out the attack. Wasn't this also a violation of the Geneva Convention? And shouldn't Ukraine be held accountable for this? We are in June 2023 now. The Novakhovka Dam has been destroyed. Ukraine wants the dam's destruction to be investigated as a war crime. It is blaming the destruction on quote-unquote Russian terrorists. But did the Russians really do it? The Kremlin, you see, is accusing Kiev of deliberately sabotaging the dam. And why is that? To distract attention from a purportedly faltering counteroffensive against Russian forces. That's the Russian version. So who is speaking the truth? Who is the real culprit here? Perhaps we'll have to wait for an independent investigation to get us some clarity. But whoever is responsible for the destruction is trying to force the principles of humanity backwards to a point where acts against civilians, acts that can cause indiscriminate and disproportionate damage, become acceptable. And where one such act occurs, others may soon follow. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.